Who can you trust? Hi, I'm Philip Montrose. My wife and partner Jane and I, we help people to step up and tap into the heart of success with holistic coaching and healing. I'm here where the Pacific Ocean meets Pismo Beach, California, to share with you ways you can trust yourself, others, and the universe. Number one, from three angles here. Who can you trust? It's very important, as I'll explain. One is to count on yourself, the three angles of who can you trust. That's sort of a definition of trusting. You can be pretty reliable if you set your mind to it and your heart and your intention to it. Not perfect, you will mess up. That way you will be able to be to your own self, be true to thine own self, be true, Shakespeare's famous words long ago. And that's counting on yourself, figuring out you're going to mess up most of the time, and you can check out yourself and others. Are you doing what you said you're going to do? Are others doing what they say they're going to do? You can test this out. Realize you can't be perfect, and it takes a little effort to follow through, which can be bothersome at times, to write that email or reread the email. Be careful to do an errand, to keep things clean, but it feels good. It's building integrity, valuing yourself, to count on yourself. Second way to trust is to harness the optimism bias. Researchers have shown that people tend to have an optimistic outlook about themselves, at least. In other words, they can overestimate themselves because there's an average, and if most people think their outcomes are above average, better fortune, better health, better wealth, better relationships, that may be a little skewed. However, you can harness that and ground it into a realistic optimism, which can actually promote health and longevity and other benefits. And myself, I was a slow learner coming to becoming an optimist and realizing I could be a realistic instead of a naive optimist too, because I had a cynical streak growing up, and it's still there, looking for the worst that can happen, and that's something to consider, but not to dwell on. So there's kind of a range here of where you fall in the optimistic range, and situations can call for different levels of optimism or pessimism. So on the one hand, you're extremely optimistic, maybe naively so, and on the other end, kind of cynical, depressed, looking for the bad on the other end. Where do you tend to operate in situations? And to help ground you into a more realistic optimism, to harness the optimistic bias, consider these four. Trust in Allah, but tie your camel first. Use both your head and heart. Use research and trusted sources. Use your intuition and hunches and test them out. So that's a way of grounding your optimism, so your attitude works for you, not against you. So the third way to figure out trust, who you can trust, is to consider trusting the universe. What do I mean? Well, everything is connected. You're connected to me now, I'm connected to you. We're connected to the water behind me, the ocean, the rocks, the sky. It's all connected. It all makes this possible. Buildings, houses, streets. There are all these connections, and much of it's invisible. The light universe, most of it's invisible. The dark energy of the universe, as scientists say, that's most of it, and it's invisible. And there's much, much more beyond things that are, quote, measurable or physical or scientifically evaluative. So it's vast. We're connected from moment to moment. If you can sense into that, if you can intuit that, if you can feel that, you can begin to trust that. And that will help guide you and know what to trust and what not to trust, and it will expand your field beyond time. And when you go beyond time and space, it helps you navigate and work actually in time and space, like right now. So those are three things to consider for trust. Count on yourself. Harness the optimistic bias. Be realistically optimistic. And trust the universe. Expand out. Know that the universe is something you can access and count on in different ways, even if not immediately understandable or visible. It's still there for you. And if you do that, if you navigate in that way, you can begin to trust yourself, trust others, trust the universe. That's something you can trust in the direction.